Mabuhay! Welcome back to our channel. This is Daryll again. In today's video, makakausap natin si Mr. Jeff Rojas. Jeff Rojas recently graduated in his program with Instituto Franklin, and now he's going to share some of the tips and his experiences with the program. So you can guys think about applying as well if you want to study here in Spain through the same program. So Jeff, you can now start.
Hi, Daryll.
Hello.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm really honored to be in this platform, and really I commend you for this advocacy. Thank you.
Thank you as well for sharing your time with us. Anong oras na dyan ngayon? It's 6.
It's 6:08 in the evening. So, pagabi na. So, the sun has already set.
Mm-hmm.
And dyan sa Madrid, kumusta ang summer? Patapos na?
Actually, we're preparing stuff for the school year. I think the beta program starts on the 15th, and then the ministry still on somewhere. Yeah, I think in October. So yun. But I don't know much about the Instituto Franklin program if they start early or a bit later.
Well, depende kung anong option ka. Like for example, if you're in option A, you start as early as this first half of September if you're assigned in a private or chartered school. But if you're with option B, which means that you're gonna work with the Ministry of Education, you will start in the first week of October, like in the Ministerio de Educación sa public school. So it's the same. But sa Instituto Franklin, usually the last half of September, meron ng mga orientation sessions. So technically, yung program ay mag-start from September at mag-end on the last week of June. So yeah.
But Jeff, before we dive into your presentation, could you tell us more about like how did you learn first about the Auxiliar program, and how long have you been here in Spain before moving back to the Philippines?
So I learned about the Auxiliar program back in 2018 kasi yung asesora nun, si Ma'am Catalina Manriquez, if I'm not mistaken. Pumunta siya sa Faculty of Arts and Letters sa University of Santo Tomas to inform us about this program. And ako nun, I wasn't still sure of what to do right after I graduate. And since yung bachelor's program ko is English Language Studies, I asked myself, why not? And during that time, medyo flashy pa yung Spain kasi, wow, it's Spain. It's a European country. And more so, I can practice my Spanish more there in Spain. So, yun, pumunta sila, tapos nag-inquire, nagbigay sila ng talk about the program. And then, my screening, I had an interview, and then I passed. And yun, I went to Spain, and the story goes on. And I've been in Spain for 3 years.
3 years. And Jeff, bigyan mo naman kami ng like ng a little bit of the process on how it is sa UST. Kasi di ba every school has its own way of like accepting applicants. Ano ba, mahirap ba? Madami bang nag-a-apply? Popular ba siya sa UST? Ganyan.
Yeah, I think so. So nung nag-orientation kasi noon, nung nag-orientation kami noon back in 2018, ang daming applicants kasi napuno yung buong aula, buong classroom. Siguro meron kami mga around 70 participants.
Pero dami sa inyo, no?
Faculty of Arts and Letters lang yun. Pero may nag-a-apply from College of Education, College of Science, ganun. So, yun. So, nakikipag-coordinate yung Consejería de Educación dun sa UST Modern Languages Department at pati na rin dun sa UST AB sa pag-screen ng applicants. In other words, mag-represent kami ng POR, ng Certificate of Good Moral Character. Well, if you haven't graduated yet, mag-present ka ng temporary DOR, tapos ano pa ba ginawa ko? Tapos bank statement, proof of economic means. So, screen ka muna sa AB, then the department or the administration will endorse you to the to Consejería de Educación, to the embassy here in the Philippines.
And
So
one
yun,
question,
tapos
Jeff.
no, interview na.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like for those people who are from the USD who are going to watch this video, ano sa tingin mo yung feeling mo lang, yung parang what are their criteria for them to accept you? Kailangan ba ano ka din, edu ka or English studies? Paano kunyari hindi ako edu student, may chance ba ako ganon? Ano ba yung mga feeling mo? Hindi ba siya biased sa certain ano lang department?
I don't think so. Kasi if we go back to the very requirements of Ministerio de Educación, you just have to be a graduate of any program.
Okay.
So it does not discriminate any program. So
Mm.
so ang daming tinanggap, like from sociology, English
Okay,
language
that's good.
studies, philosophy, what else? History, and I even have friends na kasama ko sa Instituto Franklin na biology, gano'n, tapos
Biology?
psychology chapters. Yun. Tapos kanina yung question mo, with regard to screening,
Mhm.
I think kailangan as a USC student, dapat yung grade mo hanggang dos lang.
Ay,
So,
mga ganun pala, no?
yung pass to, kunwari 2.25
Big off
bawal ka.
na? Ay, grabe.
Bawal na.
We're gonna try. See?
1.25, you're
Yeah.
good.
See, these are the things that we don't really know from other schools. Kasi di ba iba-iba yung processes as you were telling us.
Mhm.
Parang nag-undergo muna siya dun sa department tapos ini-endorse, di ba? That's very
Ako
interesting.
sa UP, may screening din kayo.
Iba yung nangyari kasi sa akin kasi when I was talking to my friends, I told them like, uy, ano ba yung program na to? Pwede ba ako mag-apply? Eh parang hindi siya, sabi ko, hindi, bakit di ako matanggap? Kasi hindi naman ako English language student. Parang hindi naman ako, hindi ko siya forte, ganyan. Sabi nila, ay hindi, pwede yan kasi hindi ka naman, Because I was doing my master's during that time sa URV. Tapos, nag-apply ako from here. So, medyo iba yung process na pinagdaanan ko. Kaya parang, hindi ko ay nakala na matanggap ako kasi akala ko from the Philippines lagi. Pero nakuha naman ako.
But did
Unfortunately.
you need to go back to the Philippines?
I had
apply
to
okay.
apply for another visa because I was thinking that I'm gonna do the proroga at that time, but like they weren't sure how to do it, or sabi ko I don't want to risk of like being denied of a visa. So
Right.
ganun ginawa ko, umuwi na lang talaga ako, inulit ko as in lahat ng process. Ganun. So there. So yun, Jeff, like do you yeah, that's very interesting. So you've been here for 3 years. Tapos 2 years pa before you go to the Instituto Franklin program.
So during my first year, I was assigned in Cordoba. Tapos I moved to I felt the Andalusian warmth. Tapos I moved to Toledo because my best friend was there. For convenience's sake. Tapos I moved to Madrid kasi I applied for the program sa master's program sa Instituto Franklin, which is in Alcalá de Henares. So yeah, I spent my 3 years in there. Now I missed it.
And of all those cities that you've been, syempre hindi lang naman yung program yung pag-usapan natin. Which one like for you is the most beautiful or the one that you really like the most based on obviously your taste as a person?
Madrid. Madrid kasi está llena de vida. It's full of life. Pwede ko. Like even nung nagma-masters ako yung hindi ka mawala ng gagawin. Like kunwari on the weekends, punta lang ako dito sa museum, tapos I'll hang out with my friends, lakad-lakad lang. Tapos very convenient ng metro, yun yung na-miss ko. You can go from point A to point B, yun yung na-miss ko sa Madrid. But yeah, Cordoba was also nice. It's very accessible to any Andalusian city like Malaga, ganon, Seville, Granada. But I would consider Madrid as my favorite city I've lived in because
Okay.
it's very active.
That's
Kahit
very
pandemic no.
interesting to know. Yeah. So yeah, Jeff, I think we're ready to hear your presentation and learn more about it. I know that there are a lot of people who are really interested in the program. And yeah, I receive a lot of messages as well from people. But since I don't really know much about it, I said, yeah, maybe I could ask someone to explain the program better. So that's why you're here. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna share my screen. Uh, it's here. So, para talaga to sa UST.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
don't worry. Mm-hmm.
may webinar kami on Wednesday. So, yung topic ko tungkol din sa Instituto Franklin. So, medyo formal siya. Pero, bear with me, Daryl.
No, no,
So,
no. I think like people would like to see what you prepared for them. So
okay.
this
So,
is
yun.
perfect.
My presentation is all about how to maximize your stay in Spain as an auxiliar by studying a master's program while being a language assistant at the same time. So, my presentation is entitled Teach and Learn and Work, Pursuing Graduate Studies in Madrid, Spain. So, I am an alumnus of Universidad de Alcala in Instituto Franklin with a master in bilingual and multicultural education. So yes, so my session is structured in the following headings. First, to lighten up the mood, auxiliar experience. Tapos, moving over to the meat of the discussion, which is the Teach and Learn in Spain program. And I'm going to enlist the master's program under the program, and then my personal experience and the pros and cons of the program. So yeah, so as what I told Daryl, I encantado de conocer.
Very cute. Love it.
Oh. So first, so as I was telling Daryl a while ago, I have been a language assistant in Spain for 3 years, being assigned in different comunidades
Very
autonomas
cute.
in Andalusia. We're here in Plaza de España in Seville, in Toledo, in Casco
Uh,
Historico, and I lived in Casco Historico, which I think was a privilege. And on my third year, I was assigned in Madrid. So yeah, so my first year was in Cordoba, and I taught bilingual subjects in English, chemistry, biology, physical education. What else? Natural sciences, earth sciences. So this is me with my first year students, and my second year, I taught in a pueblo in Toledo called Villamil de Toledo. So I taught grade school students, and these are my colleagues, and I would consider them the warmest of them all, kasi I'm still in contact with them even
nice.
this year, that year, nagka-pandemic, so like, di ba in Toledo's 8 months lang ata, so I only spent like the first half being an auxiliar, pero the last half, wala. So, kasi, di kami pwedeng mag-online. But yeah,
True.
I still had a
Mm.
meeting. And on my third year and my last year in Madrid, so this is how it's like. This is how the classroom is like during the pandemic, wearing a face mask. And as much as possible with the Daryl, we avoid, in group dynamics, we avoid group as much as possible because,
True. Mm.
hindi na susunod yung social distancing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so these are my auxiliary experiences. And why did I enroll in this program? Because I feel like in my 3 years of an auxiliar in Spain, I felt the need of investing on me, investing on my education. Kasi yung end goal, ang end goal ko talaga is to be a university professor. So I told myself, may resources naman ako, may naipon naman ako from the past 2 years of the program. So why not delve into a master's program that would let you be an auxiliar,
Mm-hmm.
SSN, in other words, earn euros while studying at the same time. So yeah, I discovered this Teach and Learn in Spain program, Instituto Franklin in Universidad de Alcalá de Henares. And what I like about this program is that it is tailored to the needs of language assistants. This master's program is really for language assistants because you know uh it's according to your schedule as a language assistant. And I'll tell you more about it later.
Yeah.
So what is Teach and Learn in Spain program? So this is a graduate program where students study a master's degree while working as an auxiliar in Comunidad de Madrid. But for example, in my case, the campus is in Alcalá de Henares, but I was lucky because I was also assigned in a primary school around the area within
Area.
Alcalá
Ah,
area.
okay, it's nice.
So yeah, but you have higher chances if you are enrolled in this program. You have the higher chances of being assigned in a school in Alcalá or around Alcalá. But then, for example, my friend na-assign siya sa Tres Cantos even
Ah,
though
nice.
Alcalá is in the eastern area of Madrid. So you can still be assigned around Madrid, even in the outskirts, even in anywhere. So yeah.
Can you actually ask them to do that for you or wala kang choice? Parang yung ibang
Mm,
program, di ba walang choice?
yeah. Yeah, so once you are enrolled in the program, meron silang bibigay sa na formularyo na form, and then they will let you choose which area of Madrid you prefer. Well,
Mm.
in my case, sabi ko, in Alcala, around Alcala, in the eastern side of Madrid. But my friend who was assigned in Tres Cantos, she also chose in the eastern side of Madrid, but she was assigned in Tres Cantos. So hindi lang yun depende sa administration ng Instituto Franklin, but since nagko-coordinate ang Teach and Learn program sa Ministerio de Educación, they do not have the absolute power for for you to get assigned in the area that you prefer. So, yun.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, and also, this is a master's proprio program, which means that it is accredited by the Universidad de Alcalá. I'll tell you more about it later. So this is a year-long program from September to June with a complete graduate coursework in one of the 8 master's program. So it has like 60 ECTS credits. So ECTS means European Credit Transfer System. So what does it mean? Like this this credits would allow you, like even though you study abroad, you can have it recognized in your home country, for example. And it makes it easier for students to move between countries. Like for example, if you want to work in Netherlands, for example, you can just show your diploma and have it recognized in the country that you're working, or lo que sea. So right now, I'm going to show you what these masters are. So currently they offer 8 masters program, but last year's they only offered 6 programs. So these are the following: Master in Teaching, Master in International Education, Master in Bilingual and Multicultural Education, which I chose, Master in Aprendizaje y Enseñanza de Español como Lengua Extranjera, which is taught in pure Spanish, Master in School Management, Master in Global Higher Education. And the two recently added master's programs are Master in Information and Communication Technology in Education and ESL and Bilingual Education, which are both online.
Mhm.
So as you can see, all these programs are designed to teachers for them to be able to develop more of their knowledge as an educator, or for those who want to work in international or multilingual settings. Well, if you really want to delve into the education field, then I think this master's programs are for you. So yun. yeah, so you have all the choices here, and I think they're apt already. And also may nabalita, may friend din ako na Filipino, Daryll, like sa architecture siya, pero nag-shift siya to education. So why am I saying this? Like uh you don't, like the administration does not care about your bachelor's degree,
Reviews.
undergraduate degree,
Yeah.
as long as you are willing, then this is for you. And also, it's also an introduction to you. Like, for example, like master in teaching siya, he didn't have any idea about how to teach or how to work in the classroom. So it's it's also good, even though your undergraduate field is not aligned to the program. So yeah. So, yun, yung general characteristics ng program na to, courses in this degree program are taught in English and in Spanish. But like, for example, in Enseñanza de Español como lengua extranjera, of course, it's taught in pure Spanish. So, yung sa application ko, they require a B2 level of Spanish. But then, hindi naman nila di naman nila hinanapan yung estudyante kung may B2 ka o wala. So, yun, like for example, during my time in Toledo, 2019, nasa Eskwela Oficial de Idiomas ako nun, tapos B1 Spanish yung inaano ko. But sabi ko, nung nakapasa naman ako sa EOI, even though may certificate ako ng B1, inonay naman nila. So, and also, yung friend ko, wala siyang alam totally in Spanish. Well, we took Spanish together back in the university, but in the communicative level, they did not have any idea. But she survived at the end of the day. So yeah, it's also the structure of the master's programs are academic courses, yung subjects mo, life experience portfolio, which is your work as an auxiliar itself, like out of the 60 credits, ECTS, the half of it belongs to your work as an auxiliar. So they will also be coordinating with your school placement. Sila din mag-grade sa'yo. Tapos yung the other half is dedicated to your academic courses, pati na rin sa master's thesis mo. So sa master's thesis, you have the option to create either a master's thesis, a research, an academic research, and a curriculum design. So yeah. With regard to the schedule, on-site classes kami, but then al principio at the beginning, puro online classes kami because nasa peak tayo ng second wave ata, Daryll. So the school decided to hold online classes. But then nag-lie-low na, so poko a poko, like for example, for this week, online classes, on-site classes kayo, but for next week, online. Tapos, so alternate siya, online, on-site, hanggang sa naging on-site siya straight through. So depende pa rin sa estado ng pandemya dyan sa Spain. But like right after or even before the courses start, may online sessions then. Well, hindi siya parang ganito na may Zoom call or whatsoever. So the professors will leave you papers, readings on, sorry, may fireworks. The professors will leave you papers, discussion boards, tapos readings online sa Blackboard. Ang Blackboard na ginagamit namin na nakalimutan ko na. Yeah, basta may platform kami, ganun. Tapos, doon na ina-upload ng mga professors kung ano dapat namin gawin. Tapos,
Moodle type. Ganyan.
Ha?
Moodle.
Ano ka mo?
Moodle, yung parang nilalagay nila dun yung sa platform, yung mga assignments,
ganun. Yun. So, discussion board, readings, papers, projects, group projects, yun. Yun. So, during the week yun. So, normally you have to spend like 3 hours for the online sessions. But it's up to you. Like, it's very flexible. What I like about this master is very flexible. It's at your own pace. Like, you can have it done right after the master's classes, or right after your private classes, or right after your work as an auxiliar, or pagkatapos mo pumarty, ganon. So flexible siya. And yeah, so it's a one-year master proprio and is accredited by Universidad de Alcalá, a public university in Spain. So Daryl, kung meron akong mga nakikita sa post sa ito yung issue. May nakikita akong post sa Auxiliares de Conversación in Madrid with regard to the validity of this program. So ang kwento daw, may dalawang uri ng masters sa Spain, which is Master Universitarios Oficial, tapos Master Propio. Master proprio literally translates to own masters.
Own its own, yeah.
So, Masters Universitario is recognized by Ministerio de Educación, but Masters Propio is recognized and accredited by the Universidad de Alcalá. So, ang ano dyan ay with this masters, no se pwede hacer un PhD. Like, you can't move to PhD here in Spain. But if you had it accredited, for example, my classmate, some alumni from this masters had it accredited sa West accreditation sa United States. They work as teachers now, as educators, and some are cursando on PhD there. So yun lang yung issue sa Spain. Like, it's only a problem in Spain if you want to pursue a PhD degree there in Spain. So yeah, so ang kwento daw dyan, Daryll, like yung Ley de Reforma Universitaria, they offer the universities in Spain the power to create their own masters. Their own masters. So yung Universidad de Alcalá, yung Instituto Franklin, they created their own masters, but still, it is according to the standards of Universidad de Alcalá. So yun.
Kasi parang standard nila yun, hindi siya parang standard of every universities in Europe, di ba?
Right. Right. Kinausap ako ng administrator, ng program coordinator ng Instituto Franklin. Like, may annual standard checking daw sila. So yeah, I think it's still based on standards, even though it's not recognized by Ministerio de Educación. It's still accredited by Universidad de Alcalá.
Totoo. And since we are on this topic, siguro medyo pag-usapan na rin natin siya kasi di ba maraming mga Americans na gumagawa niyan? Kasi apparently there are some states in the US wherein when they go there and when they finish their masters in Instituto Franklin, they have it validated. So parang nakakapaghanap sila ng work doon. Kasi studying in the US is extremely expensive. So most of them do that here, and they take the chance to have the degree validated so that when they go to certain universities in the US, hindi na sila mag-spend ng money, di ba?
Right.
I don't know how it's gonna be, for example, for you, now that you're gonna be in UST, kasi parang yung Philippines tsaka Europe, wala pa siyang validation ng mga ganun eh. Parang, ganito pag ECTS, ganito. Parang wala pa tayo noon, di ba? So,
wala pang accreditation. Pero yung mga page like group kami dun sa Instituto Franklin alumni. Napapavalidate nila sa West accreditation. West, I'm not aware of the term. But
how do you spell that, West? As in,
I feel like it's an acronym, West.
Okay.
West.
I was thinking like, is it like West? I was thinking, okay.
So, wait, let me see. Napapa-accredit nila, but here in the Philippines, may Filipinos alumni din sa Instituto Franklin. Hindi ko alam kung paano nila napapa-accredit. Pero de todas formas, it's still a master's.
Can you have it like validated or accredited? Kung hindi ka naman American, di ba parang weird yun? Hindi naman siya ganun.
Nabasa ko lang, if I'm not wrong, napavalidate nila sa Australia, sa Canada, but in the case of the Philippines, I'm not sure kung may accreditation services dito. But there were, I would definitely.
True.
But yeah, sabi daw, ang West, World Education Services. So
Okay.
North America's trusted leader in credential evaluation services. So most alumni have it accredited to with West. Yun.
Okay. That's very interesting.
Mm. Yeah, so students in this program have also the option to be language assistants in Madrid. So uh ito. So there are three tuition and there are three options. Option A, option B, and option C. So this answers the question na uh, like if you have the option to be a language assistant or not. So option A and option B, pwede ka maging language assistant. But if you do not wish to be a language assistant, then you have option C. So option A, basically, so this the students will be assigned to chartered and private schools. So it's like data program as well. So they will get a monthly stipend, and also they will get like 600, around 600 and 800, depending on the number of hours, insurance, tuition fee remission, and then they only have to pay like 500 euros deposit, which will be refunded at the end of the school year. So as this year, this if you chose option A, then you wouldn't pay for anything, like anything at all. Like you only have to deposit 500 euros ijasta, and then you will receive it after the school year ended. So option B, Daryl, is parang siya yung sa Ministerio de Educación. You will get 1,000 euros as a monthly stipend. You will get an insurance with Signa, I think, but you have to pay like 4,000 euros as your tuition fee. But in this case, you have the option to pay it in whole amount, or pwede apat na gigs, pwede tatlong gigs. But usually, ang standard sila, tatlong gigs ata. So I paid like 500 euros deposit, and then right after June, 1,000, and another 1,000 in October, and another 1,000 in
Grabe, makapag-ipon ka.
ano. But may mga students who are financially challenged. They request like a special funding options in option B, like they can have like 5 gigs. I heard, but yeah, so it's very flexible. They're very understanding with regard to funding. Yun. And in my case, Daryl, I chose option B. Why? Because of less working hours. Kasi 'di ba nagma-masters na ako, tapos ito lang yung kinikita ko, 600 to 800 lang, pero I still have to pay this. For me, I did not mind, because ang priority ko peace of mind, kasi sa option A with Beta, uh may sometimes you have to lead the class, and in my case nagma-masters na ako, tapos nagla-language assistant job na ako. I feel like ayoko na munang I don't wanna overwhelm myself. So
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. So like yung option A, ito yung medyo data na parang ikaw yung nagli-lead. Kaya nakakapagod siya. So
Kaya
you opted for option B because it's with the ministry, public. So hindi ikaw yung nagli-lead masyado.
hindi ako masyado nagli-lead. Less work.
That is actually a good strategy. I didn't really know. I know that there's like a funding like A, B, C, but I didn't know much about A pala sa private kasi 'di ba
Correct.
I mean ako naman nag-data ako for 1 year, but yun nga parang nakakapanibago siya kasi parang ay ako lahat. Bakit ako lahat? So maganda yung ginawa mo actually. And then you get paid 1,000, diba?
Exactly. I had a classmate na nag-work, Filipino din siya, kay Chari. So sa option A siya. So she worked from like 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, ganun. Tapos may master siya on a Friday. Sometimes she had to attend her classes dun sa school placement niya. Tapos she will go to she would go to the eastern side, magsiserkaniya siya. So medyo nakaka-drain. But yeah, so sometimes it's not a question of money, but some opt for option A because they want to have like an exposure to the teaching setting itself. So
That is true.
mas subok daw pag if you work with private and chartered schools.
Nakakapagod sa private. Yan.
Tapos yun, kunwari, nung nag-option B ako, sinabi ko sa coordinator ko, di ba pag nag-work ka sa Ministerio de Educación, you have the option kung anong day off mo. But in my case, hindi ako nakapili ng option, even though I explained my situation with my school na nagmamaster ako every Friday, still yung day off ko, Monday. So, pumapasok ako ng umaga sa Alcala. Well, I was very lucky kasi yung school placement ko, malapit lang doon. So, isang bus away lang. So, ayun. So, yun, nasa Alcala ako. Tapos, in the afternoon at 3:30, nasa Instituto Franklin campus na ako. So, Friday was always a busy day, a long day for me. Yun, kailangan ko tumakbo, ganun. Kailangan ko Anyway, yun. Busy siya. But, well, on the brighter side of things, tuwing Monday, wala naman ako masyadong gagawin. Like, it's time for myself. Ganun. Tapos,
True.
parang considered na din na tatlo yung weekends ko.
Yeah.
So,
Uh-huh.
umikay ko mas.
Yung option naman ay ikaw ang babayad.
Oo, tama. Yung option C, ikaw magbabayad ng full tuition fee. Wait, let me see. Who apply for this option must pay tuition for 4,400 euros to the Teach and Learning Spain program and already be placed in a teaching-related program. Students will receive the following: health, accident, repatriation insurance. So yun, ikaw magbabayad, mas mataas yung tuition fee mo, but still you have insurance.
Pero at least hindi ka magtuturo sa or required ka pa din na may teaching.
Parang required sa teaching related kasi going back, wait.
Go lang.
Wait, so nasa webinar ako. Anyway, so yung nabahin ko, yun na sa akin. Anyway, yun.
Yes.
So if we go back dun sa structure ng program, kailangan pa rin ng practicum, so kailangan pa rin i-credit yung teaching experience mo. So, that's what mas kailangan pa rin.
From the point of view of those who are already doing the auxiliar program, kunyari, tatanungin ka nila ngayon. Kunyari, ako lang yung nakaisip ng tanong. Pwede ko bang i-skip yung practicum part since ministry auxiliar naman ako for so long, tapos kukunin ko yung option C para hindi ako haggard? Hindi ba yun, hindi yun siya?
To be honest, I don't know how to answer that question kasi wala akong kakilalang nag-option. Wait, hindi. May kakilala ko nag-option C. Kaklase ko siya sa Escuela Oficial de Idiomas last year lang. Tapos sabi niya, taga Franklin ka rin, gano'n. Option C ako. Tapos sabi ko, syempre in English, sabi ko, paano ka nagpa-practicum? Sabi nga, may online classes ako based in the United States. And apart from that, hindi ko na alam kasi hindi na ako nagtanong about it. So, kailangan pa rin may application pa rin to the teaching field.
Yeah, I think few people like for this one, for option C, no?
Sorry?
Few people choose option C. Most of them either A or B, di ba? I think B is the best one of all this.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, if you have the means, then I would go to option B kasi nag-calculate ako niyan, Daryll. Like for example, kung 16 hours ako tapos 1,000 kinikita ko every month, tapos yung tuition fee ko na 4,000, 3,800 at that time. So parang parehas lang din na lumalabas. Like hindi ka magbabayad dito, pero you only get like 600 to 800 for working more hours than in option B. Then parang parehas lang lumalabas. So kung parehas lang, then I would work less. So I feel like
hindi ka haggard.
I would be here. So hindi ka ma-haggard. Pero yeah, medyo na-haggard din ako although I'm in option B.
I guess your friends is even more, di ba? Yung
I can imagine.
Di ba?
So, yun. So this is my personal experience sa program.
So cute.
So this was us, my classmates. Ito si Andeng, siya yung nasa
Yeah,
assessment
she looks
desk namin.
familiar. Mm-mm.
Wait, girl, sorry. Ano ka daw, naka-volleyball ka daw niya dati. Kasi
Ay, oo, nakita ko siya. Ano pala yun?
Aha.
Oo, one.
Yun. Yan. Kaklase ko siya nung sa undergraduate degree ko sa UST. So,
Nakabalik niya nga kami dati once. Oh.
Yun. So, may kami graduate. Ayan. This is my first on-site class noong November. Pakotom na. Ayun. So, may
Ito naman ang
personal
outfit.
Hindi ko na ngayon nagagamit. Anyway,
Good, good.
so yeah, my personal experience with the program, at first, I was shocked in terms of class dynamics, Daryll, kasi in the Philippine university settings, di ba although nagkaka-group activities tayo, nagkaka-group works tayo, we still cling to the professor. Like, the professor is the source of all knowledge, so the primary resource of knowledge. But here, the class dynamics here in Instituto Franklin, I would say more on 60% like group dynamics. You have lots of projects, research, mini research projects, educational lesson plans and whatnot. So also, kunwari nung nasa on-site class, and even in online classes, like for example, we spend 5 hours every week in on-site and online classes. So yun, like half of the time, nag-group activities kami. Pero depende pa rin sa professor. So yun, medyo na-culture shock ako kasi, medyo, I spend more time talking with my classmates. But yeah, it's also been an experience to experience this how Spanish classroom works. Well, Spanish classroom works well. Ate, nasa webinar ako. Yun. So kasi Instituto Franklin, oh my God, I'm all over. Instituto Franklin, siya, American Research Institute siya. So maybe it's an amalgamation of Spanish and American classroom dynamics. So yun yung pansin ko. More
I think it's changing these days, and I guess for those people like young educators like you would also do that in your classroom, right? Because like sometimes when we study, parang parang ganito lang dapat, parang we should obey everything that the teacher is going to say. But like it's good to have group activities so that the kids themselves could think about what they want to say or what they want to do. So you give them freedom based on whatever it is that you want to teach them. Para din hindi siya yung parang teacher-centered.
Saka mas engaged yung student. Actually, one of the repercussions of this master's program, as an educator myself, medyo nag-shift yung strategy ko. Like, hindi lang dapat ako lagi nagsasalita, dapat hindi monotonous yung class. So dapat I would also allow my students to speak, to participate in my class. It also reveals the teaching philosophy na hindi lang dapat professor yung may hawak ng knowledge. It also goes to show na pwede tayong matuto with literally everyone. So
yeah. Actually, ganun din yung philosophy ng itong channel natin. But I like talking to people, so I learn a lot actually from this presentation. I know like bits, like pieces of Instituto Franklin, like people go there to study, but I didn't really know much about it, and so it's really a good idea that you're sharing this information as well. And what's good with your presentation, I guess, is that it's very personal. It's not something, obviously they can go to the website of Instituto Franklin and look for information, but you're talking about your experiences that you as a Filipino as well had from your classmates, from your peers. So parang mas marami kaming natututunan from you than just going to the website and look for all these prices, like, oh, this master's is this and that, but we don't really know much about it, you know. So
Right. I
we're
also consider it
grateful.
as a wake-up call sa sa Filipinos who are interested with this program para hindi na din sila ma-shock like coming from Philippine educational settings na sa professor na
A
professor yung
very
primary
traditional way of teaching.
traditional.
Mm.
So yeah. Also apart from group based uh, knowledge, activity-based knowledge siya. So, yung grading system namin, we don't have an exam, Daryl. Yun
Mm.
yung, yun yung special about this master. So, more on outcomes-based siya, more on project-based. So, usually, yung grading system, like, kunwari, di ba, ang major exam natin ay usually comprise of the 50% or 40% of our grade. However, here in Instituto Franklin, mga mini research projects, lesson plan, or compilation ng papers, or group activities, what else? Book evaluation, what else did I do? Curriculum,
Yeah.
yeah, and also cultural research. That's what makes, that's what make the majority of my grade there. But
Mhm.
also, iba pang grading system nila, discussion board, participation, attendance, gano'n. Depende sa professor.
Totoo.
Yun.
And I think it's like a very fresh from coming from the Philippines, 'di ba? Parang it's really a good way to study. Like you do something and then you get, for example, an evaluation. So
Mm-hmm.
hindi siya yung parang you memorize something and then
Right.
you're being tested if you still remember everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Very practical yung program na to. Really
True, I
designed
think
for.
yeah, that's the term. Very practical.
So yeah, yun yung personal experience ko sa program. But moving over here sa pros and cons ng program. First pro, it allows you to study and work as an auxiliar at the same time. So I was saying that this is really designed for language assistants. So usually yung assistants, they usually attend classes on their school placements now. Monday to Thursday, tapos either Tuesday to Friday. So yung program na to, usually we have on-site classes every Friday from 3:30 up until 8:30. Yun nga lang, yun
Yun
yung
nga, ang haba, no?
5-hour long classes on Friday evening, which is isang bagsakan. Pero there are breaks in between, so don't worry about it. So it's really designed for language assistance, and also with this masters, it allows you to to apply the theories that you studied in the classroom setting sa school placement mo. Ganun. Minsan, kunwari, pag may mini research projects kami, ginagawa naming research setting or research participants yung students namin, of course, with their consent. So that's a good thing about these programs, na pagko-combine yung auxiliar job and the masters at the same time, theory and practice. Yun. Also, as an educator, expand knowledge in the teaching field, especially in the Spanish educational system. So yeah, you'll get more you'll learn more about how Spanish educational system works here. Ganon. Be surrounded with like-minded professors and classmates in the professional context. So this program is also a chance to build connections, especially it's a study abroad program. So you can have classmates from all over the globe, from United States, from Canada, from South Africa, India, Philippines, Australia, New Zealand. So yung program na to ay designed for native speakers of English or non-native speakers, native speakers of English. So yun, so it's a chance to build connections with them. Like for example, right after we graduate, we have like an alumni group where the administrators or even alumni post job offerings anywhere in the world. Help you with your legal paperwork and tailor your needs. here I refer to your TA, ganon, your visa assistants. I must say that they have a responsive and proactive administration team. Like they know how being a language assistant is in Spain. So they know how TS work. They have connections with Oficina de Extranjería. So you sometimes they
Just like sa
schedule your
data rin.
appointment. Ganon. So they also help you with visa processing. They talk to the consulate, for example. As for my case, ang hirap maghanap ng sita para sa extranjeria to process my TA Daryll. So I sought help from them. So yun, nagkasita na ako agad. So meron na akong, like, they partner with this association of, no kasi, yun. Basta may schedule na ako. Ayun. So they have a responsive and proactive administration who will also help you with your legal paperwork here in Spain. And also yung last legal assistance nila was with a lawyer. Like for example, yung ibang estudyante gustong mag-settle here in Spain, work as English teachers. They have a lawyer, and then we have like a webinar about it, how to transform your student visa to Arraigo, to Pareja de Hecho, for example. So, yun, ano nila yun.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's what I like about it. Also learn the values of time management, independence, and communication skills in group works. Yun. Since it combines auxiliary job, tapos yung masters, you learn the value of time management. Tapos I learned how to meal prep, ganon. Tapos kunwari, nung na-manage ko na yung oras ko, it's also a chance for me to learn Spanish even apart from the institution. So nag-apply pa rin ako. Kinontinue ko yung Spanish ko with Escuela Oficial de Idiomas. Tapos medyo na-manage ko na naman yung oras ko. So why don't I take French classes? So may apunten classes de Frances. So yun, so medyo busy din ako nung araw na yun kasi kung saan ako sumusuot. Also, for Filipino language assistants na gusto pa rin mag-private classes, even with this masters and auxiliary job, kaya pa. I accepted like four sessions of private classes of English. But it's only online because I don't want to move back and forth. So yun, kaya pa. Basta like, timplahin mo muna sa simula, ganon. Tapos ina mo kung kaya mo, syempre kung kaya ng oras.
And I think, I think it's also because you chose B, no? Feeling mo ba kung A yung pinili mo, may energy ka pa? Kasi you get paid less and also you work for more hours, di ba? So I don't think kung yung B, yung A yung pinili mo, baka na-haggard ka.
Klaro, kaya yun. Okay, so okay na ako sa option B.
Yeah.
Okay na siya. Well, with the cons, like coursework. So what do I mean by this? Like, ako kasi, I graduated with AB in English Language Studies. So I feel like I learned, I knew about this. I knew about this series already. I knew about this stuff. So what's something new with me with these courses that I know? So, but still, I learned a good amount of lessons with Instituto Franklin. But yeah, yun. So yeah, also, as I was telling you a while ago, it cannot be used for PhD programs in Spain, but you can have it recognized in your home countries. And one con also is your 5-hour long classes on Friday evening. So my personal experience with this is that medyo short yung attention span ko. Kaya minsan wala nang impormasyon na pumapasok sa akin. Pag straight class siya. Pero may mga professor, like 30 minutes in 5, meron kaming 30 minutes break in the 5-hour long classes. So pwedeng i-adjust ng professor 10 minutes after 1 hour, 10 minutes. Pero merong iba na whole 30 minutes. So yeah, depende na rin sa agreement between the professor and the students. Yun. And yeah, so for further information, you have the following. You can go to this link which will I find this very accessible and informative kasi here you can encounter kung ano yung courses. Like for example, in master teaching, makikita mo kung courses, yan, kung ilang units, ganun, if it's taught in English or in Spanish. Or like for example, a life experience portfolio. Basically, this one is a compilation of your experiences in paper form sa pagiging language assistant, gano'n. So, yeah, it's it's easy to navigate this side. Also, you can email admissions at institutofranklin.net, or if you need some personal guidelines, you can contact me by this email. Yun.
Oh my God, thank you so much, Jeff. I learned a lot from this presentation. But yeah, and I think it's one of the good things that you should do if you're gonna do the auxiliar program to enroll in a master's program as well. Kahit na sabihin natin na propyo siya or not, I think marami pa din siyang advantages din. So,
Right.
I have some questions for you. Like the first one is, what are the things that you experienced in Instituto Franklin na parang like memorable experiences sa Instituto Franklin?
Memorable experiences with Instituto Franklin. Maybe the feeling of being the campus itself. Like, kasi
Maganda.
tumira sa Alcala, gano'n, tapos
So
punta ka
pretty.
lang sa Old Town, pwede ka rin pumunta sa library nila, bisitahin mo yung museo natal ni Miguel Cervantes, tapos makikita mo yung storks doon, you feel the graduate student life in Alcala in spite of the pandemic. Ano pa, maybe isa pa, Daryll, yun nga, yung sinasabi ko kanina, building connections with your professors. Like for example, we follow each other, my professors and I in LinkedIn. Like, kunwari, may job offering sila, yung isang professor namin ay lead coordinator ng USETAM. So, in-invite niya kami. Like, for example, if you're interested right after this master's program na mag-transfer ng USETAM, then I can coordinate with you, ganon. Building connections. Tapos yung isa, parang may connection ata siya sa BEDA program, ganon. So, nililid nila yung students. Kasi they're well aware of the situation of language assistance.
I'm curious about like your classmates. Like most of them, after graduation, did they stay here in Spain, or they move back to the US, or ano yung ginawa nila afterwards? Most of them.
Well, some of my classmates continued with being an auxiliar in Madrid.
USETAM or BEDA na? Or mix?
Iba't ibang program, BEDA, USETAM, gano'n. So, ministry, gano'n. Tapos, yung iba, nag-transfer ng komunidad. Tapos, yun nga, yung iba, gusto mag-work sa academy. So, yung legal assistance webinar namin, tinutulungan sila. Tapos, yung isa kong kakilala, the reason as to why she took this course kasi meron silang school ata sa hometown niya sa Amerika. So she wanted to help her mother or her parents. Maybe I'm wrong kasi I medyo hindi ko na din kasi maalala, pero yung point is ano siya, yung parents niya owns a school in America, so she wants to undergo teacher training, and we're not in contact anymore, but then I'm not sure about if it pushed through or not. What else? Like kunwari, yung ibang alumni, yung thesis advisor ko, naging admissions officer sa Instituto Franklin. Tapos ngayon, officer na din siya sa IE. Doon sa Madrid. What else? Some have been professors in Instituto Franklin right after nila mag-PhD, ganon. So, as a matter of fact, some of my professors were Instituto Franklin graduates, ganon. Yun.
That's nice. And kung Jeff, if I were to ask a question, what are the things that you wish you have known before applying to the program, or things that you should have prepared beforehand, parang ganon, para at least yung mga nakikinig sa atin, parang ganun pala magpe-prepare din ako niyan. Syempre lalo na sa pera, 'di ba? Like you have to,
Right.
if you're gonna choose option B, 'di ba, or C.
Mhm. Well, siguro sa sa thesis guidance, Daryl. Like yung thesis namin, since six credits ata siya,
Mm.
there's no actual research classes. Kaya parang self-study na lang din, nagsi-self-research kami, although with
Ay,
the
ikaw
guidance
lahat?
is
Wala kang
already
advisor, gano'n?
may advisors kami. But then parang since it's a student-centered program, parang lahat on your own, gano'n. Yun. I wish I had known that. Also,
Oh,
yun
that's a
nga.
good thing na you brought up the topic, yeah. Kasi,
Mm-mm. What else? Also, yung documents nyo. Like, for example, in
ay,
my
ayan,
case,
coming from the Philippines, yung mga documents,
mhm,
kailangan dalhin na
like,
nila yung TOR ba nila, ganyan, di ba?
yeah, so kunwari yung undergraduate diploma nila, kailangan nilang ipa-apostyle.
Mhm.
At in my case, so yung diploma ko, since I couldn't go home last summer because of the pandemic, I had it sent thanks to my university. So yun, pina-apostyle nila muna sa CHED yung
Mhm.
diploma mo, tapos papa-apostyle mo sa DFA, tapos papadala sa kanila for them to be able to validate your undergraduate degree, and for them, like at the end of the day, ma-produce yung master's degree diploma mo. Tapos TOR, dala-dala ko yung TOR, ayun yung advice ko,
Yan. Mhm. Dalhin nyo nila.
i-photocopy nyo na lahat, digital copies nyo na lahat ng academic documents nyo before moving to Spain.
Mhm.
Like for example, may NBI, tapos may NBI, may medical certificate, tapos kailangan din ng tax certificate sa US, sa Pilipinas, ganun. But in any case, kailangan talaga nila ng hard copy ng diploma mo na apostille. So, kailangan mo talaga siyang ayusin by kailangan nila ng physical copy, which they will retire to you during your last sessions in the masters.
Okay.
Tapos Daryl, they will also help you to gain certificado digital, so that
Okay.
pwede ka na mag-apply ng certificados de antecedentes penales o o delitos sexuales sa pangalan to, sa pangalan nun, Daryl,
Dito sa malapit siya sa Sole.
yun, kailangan, like, tutulungan ka nila with your digital documents as
Yeah,
well.
for those who don't know, yung dito sexualis na certificate, ini-issue siya sa mga tao na walang ginawang krimen na related lang sa bata. Di ba very specific siya? Sa atin kasi NBI, di ba?
NBI lang.
So that you could
So,
work with children. Ganon.
right, right. Like, in Instituto Franklin, before like after you get accepted, I think kailangan nila ng dalawang NBI documents mo, which is issued here in Spain, antecedentes penales, tapos delitos sexuales.
Dalawa.
Mhm. Yun. Okay, mas. Tapos essay nyo, like upon application, kailangan may personal essay ka
Ay,
on
ayun.
why you want to pursue graduate studies with Instituto Franklin, ganon. In my case, 2 to 3 pages siya. I specify the reasons as to why I wanted to pursue these studies. Tapos kung where do you see yourself in 5 years in the education field. Tapos noon, may interview, ganon.
May interview pa.
Interview din sa Franklin. And after that, after the interview, after you passed all the documents, then bibigyan na nila yung results kung accepted ka or not.
That's really nice. And I have a question related to those who are applying from the Philippines. Do you know anyone who successfully did that? That they applied from the Philippines and then they went here through Instituto Franklin. Kasi most of us apply
Dito na.
while being here in Spain.
Mhm.
Pagkatapos ng one program to another. So do you know anyone na ganon?
Yes. Yes, si
Obviously,
Ate.
probably US, ano, di ba? Mga US citizens, but someone from the Philippines?
Yes, yes. May kakilala ko. So, yun, ganun. It's the same process.
Mm.
But the thing is that what makes it different, that syempre, kailangan mo ng student visa, kailangan mo pa rin
Yun.
mag-apply ng, ng student visa sa consulate, Spanish consulate sa Manila. So, she had to process her medical certificate,
Mm.
NBI, apostille services, graduate diplomas, undergraduate diploma, TOR, gano'n. So parang it's the same process with as of applying as a language assistant.
Mm.
Yun.
Oh, that's really nice. So,
Yeah.
yeah, like I think you have explained everything that most of us like have like the questions we have imagined, you have already explained everything. So thank you so much for the presentation, Jeff. And one thing,
Yeah.
like after this program, would you want to go back here in Spain again to pursue a PhD? What are your like, if you could share, what are your like future plans?
For
Obviously
sure.
teach and then
Yeah.
or study
So,
online from there.
mhm, like the reason as to why I went home is because I wanted a new work environment. So right now I've been applying to Spanish speaking jobs here,
Mm.
and I'm going to try to I'm going to try to stay here for, I don't know, 1 year to see if I see myself here. Kasi ang nangyari kasi right after I graduated, sumabak na agad ako sa Spain. So wala akong work experiences dito sa Pilipinas.
Mhm.
Ganon. So medyo na-shock din ako right after I arrived home. Kasi kailangan ko pala ng SS, kailangan ko pala ng NBI, ganon. Kailangan ko
Yeah, okay.
health, kailangan ko
Ang
mag-apply ng
dami.
medical insurance, ganon. Kung ano-ano, tapos nung kinita ko yung mga kaibigan ko dito, ganon, parang ang established na nila kasi alam na nila yung pasikot-sikot ng trabaho dito sa Pilipinas. While me, parang naging back to zero ko kasi, after having been in Spain for 3 years,
Uh-huh.
parang it's all completely foreign to me. So,
True. I mean, you're gonna be a foreigner to your own country now. Parang
yeah,
ganun. Mm.
that's what I'm feeling right now. Like,
Mm.
you
You're
know,
not
like,
used to things anymore.
mm, like for example, Daryl, yung mga small cost, yung mga kositas, like, kung super nag-grocery ako dito, yung yogurt, 30 pesos yung isa, pero yung sa Spain, for four yogurts, parang ano lang siya, 50 cents lang siya sa Carrefour o Mercadona. Kaya medyo culture shock ako kasi ang
Sobrang
mahal
mahal
ng
ng mga
bilihin dito.
sobrang mahal ng healthy food.
Ang mahal ng healthy food. Kaya pala gano'n kasi
Mm.
hindi mataas yung purchasing power ng mga Pilipino. Pero kaya sila nagre-resort to 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 unhealthy food, gano'n. Kaya medyo nag-a-adjust ako dito kasi ano ba 'yan, ang baba-baba na nga ng sahod dito tapos ang taas-taas pa ng bilihin. Paano ka magsu-survive dito? So 'yun,
True.
medyo na-shock ako dito.
Mm.
'Yun,
So,
sorry.
yeah, I think no. Those like comments are valid. I think um everyone thinks the same. Parang dito kasi sa Spain, hindi naman ganun mataas yung sahod niya, pero parang you can live. Like you
Right.
can have like the work-life balance, and then also you can eat like what rich people would eat as well. Like you can
Mhm.
also consume that. And yeah, so basically those are the things that obviously we can compare whenever we go home. So yeah, so I think after working there for 1 year, maybe tell us what you think about it, or
Yeah, for
probably
sure.
you're gonna share us na nag-aaral ka na online. Kasi marami ding online platforms these days. Kung gusto mo ulit i-pursue yung another
Yeah.
masters pa. Mm.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Gusto ko talaga mag-venture sa university education world.
Mm-hmm.
But for sure, I'm going to be back in Spain
Mm-hmm.
kasi feels like I considered it home at some point. And that's where, like, apart from this masters and professional things,
Uh-huh.
I I would say that I grew up personally as well.
True. Mm. Nakatawa
Kasi,
naman. I think a lot of like people are gonna be inspired by this talk. Marami silang matututunan. Kasi I think there also one of the reasons why it's because it's very personal and it's also coming from a person who studied back home in the Philippines and who also want to go abroad and try new things, obviously, and learn this kind of um, lifestyle, culture, language, di ba? Parang dami.
mhm,
So,
exactly. Pero marami din sila natututunan sa'yo, Daryl. I really admire you for your advocacy. Like, sinicheck ko kasi yung channel mo, like, nagtuturo ka ng Espanyol, how to apply as an auxiliar, gano'n. Like,
mm,
for example,
medyo
go.
medyo mix actually yung topics these days. Pero I was thinking of just doing a playlist kasi I really like talking to people and I learn a lot from them as well. So parang ayoko lang siya i-limit sa Spanish. Kaya hindi ko rin siya ginawang Daryl in Espanol. Alam mo yun? Parang kasi I have different passions. So and I do this and I do that, you know? So I just don't want to limit myself just doing one thing. So, ayun din. Tsaka natutuwa ako mag-interview ng mga tao.
La, naalala ko, sis, nagkita tayo dahil sa Hopia Ube.
Yeah, I didn't really know that.
Kasama ko si Javi nun, tapos nung kami Prinsipe Pio, tapos kakatok. Sobrang awkward ko kasi pag new meetings. Ayun, tapos
Meeting.
ayun, I like
Sorry,
your
madaldal kasi ako in person eh. Baka mamaya na-shock kayo.
ang sarap ng, sis, nagtitinda ka pa ng Hopia.
Hindi na. Actually, I was just helping my flatmate at that time. Kasi sabi niya, parang gusto ko magtinda eh, di ba parang malapit na rin yung halos pandemic na nun eh, di ba? And nandito lang siya, wala siyang ginagawa. So, I'm gonna bake. And then right now, like, she went back to work. So, she can't continue anymore. Eh, hindi naman ako gumagawa nun. I mean, I like eating it, but like, I can't do it myself. So, pero ang sarap, di ba? Tsaka very filling.
Nagustuhan ni Javi.
Kasi sa iba,
Tapos,
parang hindi siya, ano eh,
girl, yung sa iba, hindi siya completely filled. Tapos,
totoo,
pansin mo na hindi siya natural kasi puro food coloring.
totoo.
Iba yung
Ulit
kulay.
siya.
Anyway, no di ko mas.
True. And then I think it's not just you. A lot of Americans like actually bought it. I wasn't really expecting it when I posted it on the group. My initial objective was just to share it and also, you know, like it's part of our culture as well, and it's one of the products in the Philippines. And yeah, I think they were like really intrigued by the color of it. It's purple. And so what's this, you know? Like probably if it's brown, baka hindi masyado. But it's purple, you know, like it's really attractive. So, pinost ko siya, ang daming nagpunta. So parang
It was a top notch, Daryl, yung post mo.
ang daming nagpunta. So like, yeah, hopefully like whenever she has the time. Pero actually sayang kasi nandun na yung momentum, hindi niya pinush. Eh ako pa naman di ba? Ako pa naman nagsasabi na, oy, dito, ganyan. Hindi niya na-push, so hindi consistent. Malay in the future.
Yeah.
Jeff, thank you so much for your time. And I think also like
Daryl.
people who are watching right now are really grateful for the time that you spent. And the thing with the video is that whenever someone sees this, they look at it and also, you know, like remember all the tips that you have shared. And yeah, we're really grateful for the information. Very entertaining at the same time, and yeah, hindi ko alam yung mga ganun palang ginagawa dun sa
I'm happy to share it. Thank you, Daryl, for inviting me.
Thank you, Jeff. And
for your summer in Madrid, Daryl.
good evening din. Actually din,
Thank
yan.
you.
Good luck sa mga work na pinupursue mo.
Okay.
Balitaan mo ako, magka-chat naman tayo.
Sige. Salamat, Daryl. Enjoy your remaining days in the summer.
Actually,
Bye-bye.
I started working.
Basta enjoy, eh.
Bye, Jeff!
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you!